The Parliamentary Art Collection holds over 8,500 works of art, from watercolours and oil paintings to sculpture, textiles, ceramics and historic artefacts. This national collection provides a remarkable historic record of our parliamentary heritage and of British political life over the centuries. Parliament has been collecting art for over 170 years. The Speaker's Advisory Committee on Works of Art seeks to develop, care for and interpret the collection to ensure it remains relevant to the changing face of Parliament. It has commissioned works by artists from across the UK with a variety of styles and approaches, enriching the contemporary collection by bringing together new artistic perspectives on Parliament from around the country.
This piece of work was commissioned from Philip Sanderson, who came to the new Portcullis House looking out of the windows onto the Thames, reflected on the environment. And so on those tapestries are real vistas of the British countryside that so many people will recognise. Oak trees, fields, a real sense of space. And I think it's very important that here in this very, very important committee room where Tony Blair's been quizzed, where Rupert Murdoch and Rebecca Brooks have sat and had some degree of interrogation, that there is that reminder of our environment, of life beyond Westminster, of the nature of life in this country. So it works beautifully in this space, and I think that it's great in this most urban of spaces here in central London that the landscape comes in such a real and defined way.
We think it's extremely important to preserve the history of Parliament through art, and that's our main function. This portrait of Margaret Beckett is extremely important for the collection. Margaret was the very first female leader of the Labour Party. She was the very first female Foreign Secretary. The artist Anthony Williams has painted her in egg tempera, and the level of detail in the portrait is astonishing, and you have to look very closely to see the thousands of brushstrokes which have made up this portrait. And we have a fairly formidable portrait of a formidable woman.
The collection, which depicts women in Parliament, and particularly the suffragettes, is a really crucial part of the collection. It shows the struggle that there was 100 years ago to make sure that women could be represented in Parliament, and of course the important works of art which depict not just them, but also the campaign for women's suffrage. There are also a number of pin badges and medals which indicate the work of the WSPU and the other suffrage societies. Nancy Astor in this Strobel bust was the first woman to take up her seat in Parliament. She then used her time in the House of Commons to fight for women's rights, for children, and particularly for nursery care and education. And it's really important that we have works of art that can show women who right from the start worked hard to make sure that Parliament was a much more equal place.